Alright guys, so it's time to talk about how we're going to polish and what equipment I'm going to use. So I got two different setups here, and I'll walk through them real quickly. So first one is a Harbor Freight dual action polisher. It's a very small, I think it's a 8mm throw, and so this is what I started with when I was just learning how to polish and stuff. This used to have a 6-inch backing plate on it. I've now put a 3-inch backing plate, and it's perfect for very tight areas and stuff where you don't want a whole lot of movement, and just smaller areas in general. So that's the one I'm going to use in tight spots. And then I have a ZOTA RP15, which is essentially you know, a copy of the Rupes for pennies on the dollar, with a 15mm throw and a 6-inch backing plate. So here it is. I've only used it on 2 or 3 vehicles now. It's pretty much brand new. But yeah, so this is my heavy hitter. So when I have long flat sections like the doors or whatever, I'm going to be using this thing. And then when I got really tight areas, I'm going to use the Harbor Freight one. Now the compound that I'm going to be using today is Benzerna's heavy cut compound. It's a 400. It's almost a single stage depending how you use it and what pad you use it with. I've had really good luck with this, although on black paint it's almost always a you know, a 2-stage paint correction. So heavy cut compound, and I think this time, just because I know how bad the paint is, we're going to be using Meguiar's microfiber pads, cutting pads here, and then so this will probably be our cut stage, and then when we're all done, depending how it looks, we're probably going to end up with either an orange Lake Country 6-inch pad or a white one. The white one is more for polishing, and the orange one is a little bit more of a cut. So it really depends what the paint looks like after. We'll have to do a couple test sections. But what I really like to use for a polishing, and I think this is going to be get a little bit of controversy here, but Chemical Guy's V38, it smells delicious. I find it it finishes very well, and if all you're looking for is very, very light abrasive, the 38 will give that to you, and it smells perfect. So that's what I'm going to try to use today. I have some other stuff if this doesn't work out as well as I want it to be, but that's kind of where we're going to start. So this is essentially my bin of pads and all my other options for cutting or finishing. So let's get started on it. Alright guys, so I've got a tape line there, but that's because just every single YouTuber does it, so might as well join. But I picked this spot because you can clearly see right here where I told you that vinyl or that decal was, and then up here where there's not. So we're going to go ahead and try to correct this area right here so that we can have a good 50-50 shot of just the panel next door there. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started. I got my nice Husky work light here. It's a very bright LED. I'll set that up right there. Now I'm going to prime my pad. Right, so microfiber pad, I'm sure you all know this, but anyway, you just put a couple dots, and then you work it into the pad, work the compound into the pad, and that's essentially how you prime it. Right, and then you go ahead and add your 4 dots. So the other thing too is we really have to temper our expectations, right? The paint was really bad. It was really rough. So before I wipe this off, I think I'm going to understand that I'm not going to get everything off unless we take a lot of material off the paint, and I don't know if I'm ready to do that yet. So let's see how it turns out after we wipe this off. The other thing too is I really like these very low pile, like Costco towels. They just seem to pick up the compound a lot easier than some of the high pile stuff. Alright, we're going to go ahead and peel this tape line off. Okay, so yeah, that looks pretty decent. You know, I mean, that side's just so bad. So we still have some holograms in this thing here. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but I think the majority of the scratches are gone. Yeah, all that's left is just a hologram. You can see when we go from. Alright guys, sorry, my lens was dirty. Anyway, like I was saying, all you can see there is essentially some holograms. It looks significantly better. Now you can see it needs some polishing, right? There's a lot of compounding haze in here. So I think what we'll do is we'll try and slap on either the orange pad or the yellow pad, or sorry, the orange pad or the white pad, and we'll see if we can get rid of all these, and see if it'll finish up with just that quick little two-stage. Alright guys, so let's peel the tape off here. And I'll get my other light. But I think, just based on first glance, it does appear that, you know, most of that haze, most of that is all gone. I probably need, I don't know, I think I see a little bit more right in there. Those seem like very fine scratches. Yeah, you can see it right there. Otherwise it looks really, really good. So I think what we need to do is probably step it up to, instead of the white pad, I'll probably end up finishing, or try to finish with an orange pad. I think that'll take the last bit of it out. But, you know, that looks really good to where, you know, compared to where it ended or started out. You know, just like that. The other thing that's really nice is that kind of made the decal, you know, wherever the decal was is gone. I can't even tell now. If you look, you can see it right down in here, right there. You don't see that anymore. So anyway, let me get the rest of this door done, and then I'll come back and share some thoughts with you guys. All right, so just a reminder too, you got to blow your pad out. These microfibers, they tend to like pile up, like they tend to build up all the junk that you took off of there. So use an air compressor and just blow off your pad between passes. Alright guys, so it's been a couple hours now, probably an hour and a half or whatever I did this door. So I'm going to show you the end result. Hopefully it comes out. Turned out pretty good. Got most of them. There's still a couple little imperfections that are still in there. The decal is, you know, wherever the decal was, you can hardly tell anymore. If I could focus right there, you can. I think it's just the paint was just such in bad shape. Even at it right from here, you can really hardly tell that there was a decal, unlike before. So anyway, I'm going to turn my attention to this Fender now. Now I would typically wrap or tape off these. This is just Plasti dipped, and I'm going to remove it. So I would normally tape that off. I'm going to use the Plasti dip as kind of my tape, and then peel it off when I'm all done. So yeah, I'm going to get this Fender done next. Yeah. Anyway, you just got to keep chugging away at this thing. Alright guys, so I did the front fender here. It turned out pretty good. There was one deep scratch right there. You can definitely see that. You'd have to wet sand that out, and I'm not really ready to do that. This paint's pretty trash, and I really don't feel like taking any more clear off the paint at this moment. So anyway, otherwise it looks pretty decent. You know, like I said, you got to temper your expectations, and you know, it looks pretty good. This is just like I said, a single stage, right? So even the door, I only did the compound with the microfiber, so there's still a lot of haze in there that's going to come out with the finishing step here. So finishing polish. So yeah, the fender's all done. Now we got to move our attention over to the hood, which you know, it doesn't look great. We're going to go ahead and clean this up, hopefully. One thing I noticed is on this fender, there's a lot of rock chips. You can see it right there. There's a ton of rock chips. Now, there's not much we could do about those. Either need a respray or like a re-clear or something like that. Some of those I'm sure could come out if you do a wet sand, but like I said, I think, you know, the condition of the clear is probably already questionable, so I don't want to impose any more damage. So anyway, yeah, the rest of the car is just, you know, rinse and repeat. So I don't know if I'm gonna record anymore, but I'll probably bring you in for the final shot once this is all done, and then we'll talk about our closing thoughts. Alright guys, just a quick status update here on the car. We've done the hood, the roof, the trunk, and pretty much this whole side of the vehicle is done. And just need to do the little skirt at the bottom there. What we're going to do here is remove the PPF. There's a little bit of PPF right there. I think we'll pull that out and we'll polish around it, and then probably reapply some of that paint protection film. It turned out pretty good. There's a lot of spots that I just couldn't get everything out without taking off a lot more paint than I wanted to, so I kind of left some scratches like this guy right here. It's a little dusty right now because of the polish I've been using, but anyway, like that scratch there, I couldn't get it out. But what we're going to do is move our attention to the fender here, where I was explaining to you guys that, you know, the previous owner was a little bit sloppy in his repair. He just like laid on a bunch of paint, and you know, I appreciate that because it's not going to rust, but it doesn't look that great. Now I haven't polished any of this yet, so what we're going to do is there's quite a big gap in there, so inside wherever the scratch happened, I don't know if you guys can even make it out, but anyway, he just put a very light coat of paint. So what we need to do is fill this up, and while we're at it, we're going to fill up a couple rock chips like that one, and then there's one on the door right there, and then a couple on the hood that really popped out when I started polishing, like all these little guys. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the process of repairing those, and then quickly just run over all the steps that I use to make this look, you know, a little bit better than it is now. Okay, so first things first, before you start doing anything to your paint, you got to make sure you got the right paint code. Now on the CTS-Vs, the paint code is under the spare tire cover, although you don't have a spare tire. Anyway, the service part identification tag is right there, and you can see the numbers, or BC, CCC. Anyway, the paint code is 8555. So what I ended up doing is just grabbing one of these touch-up pens, because we got lucky, right, in this case, and none of these scratches or paint chips or anything are down to bare metal, so we don't need to put any primer or anything down. We'll just put one really thin coat of the paint, and then we'll put some clear on top of it, and we'll sand it all down and make sure everything was good. So yeah, that's what we're going to do here. Okay, so I think everybody's probably done this already before, so I'm going to gloss over these instructions real quick. But essentially your pen comes with a pretty handy abrasive tip. You just go in there, you knock down any kind of edge that's on the chip, and then you also just abrade the paint underneath, just making it a little bit more rough so the paint can stick to it better. Just really quickly go over this. Alright, so now that those are cleaned up, I have some paint prep solution here. So it's just essentially an IPA wipe down, and that removes any polishing oils or any oil residue or anything that's left in the crack or the paint chip itself. All right, so now we got that super clean. Give it a couple seconds to dry. Now that's, like I said, it's IPA, so it dries fairly quickly. While you're waiting for it to dry, just shake this thing up real quick. And considering these are paint chips, I think what we'll do is we'll try the paint tip on it, and not the brush, because the brush would just make a big mess, I think. So anyway, I don't think I've ever used this tip before, so let's just see. Okay, so it turns out if you're not perpendicular to the surface and this is not a completely vertical, it just doesn't work. So we're gonna end up using the brush here. We'll just make sure we're real light on the application. Here's the brush. I hate the brush. Always makes a mess. Just take most of it off. Now you don't need a whole lot of paint, right? You just need to fill. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I hate that. You end up putting way too much on it every time. All right, so you got to give those probably, I don't know, a couple hours to dry before you can start sanding. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna sand very lightly over, just to make sure everything's level, and then we'll put our clear coat on top. And then once again, sand the clear coat just a very little bit, just to make sure it's not bulging or anything like that. And then we'll repolish it in the areas that we need to. So while that's curing, we're gonna go ahead and shift our attention to the fender, and we'll see how we repair that one. All right, guys. So hopefully you guys can see. Oh yeah, right there. You can see the paint repair that was done. It's pretty sloppy there, so he's got a lot of paint that's on the nice clear. This right here is just where there was an impact. This is not any repair. I think this will come out with a little bit of compounding. So anyway, yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna sand all this off so that we're just left with some clear. Typically for that kind of job, I don't like to go super aggressive, so I just got some 2000 grit here, sandpaper, and we're just gonna give this a quick wet sand. And very often, periodically check on it before going too far. So let's get started. Now that looks really good. We can see we got most of the, of that single stage paint repair. It's gone, and we're just down to whatever's left in the the gouge, which we need to fill with clear now. So I think that looks pretty good. I think we'll go a little bit more. You can see it right there. There's evidence of a little bit more paint. So we'll go give it a little bit more, and then I think we're all done here. So now you can see it's dry. We have maybe 2 more spots there, but the rest will fill in with the clear. All right, and once again, before we hit anything with with some paint or some clear or whatever, make sure you hit it with the paint prep, right? So it's just alcohol white. Make sure you get rid of anything. I know we just sanded it, so it's probably not super necessary, but we're gonna hit it with that anyway. Give it a couple seconds to dry, and we're just gonna use this again that comes with the clear at the bottom. So go ahead and shake it up. I don't know if you need to shake clear. I think so. Anyway, whatever. All right, and I'm just gonna have this on my lap, this light on my lap, and then we're gonna very slowly start filling the gap up here with our clear. Again, you probably want to give this, a couple hours, or if you're gonna go do multiple coats, give it 30-40 minutes or whatever between coats. But yeah, you can see I kind of concentrated around the scratch, and I didn't go too thick so it could dry quickly. And then we'll go ahead and sand and polish that off. All right, guys, so it's been about an hour and a half or so. I've touched all these. These are all fully dry. So all I'm gonna do now is just sand them down very lightly, and that way we'll just make sure that the surface is all smooth and prepped, and then we'll follow it up with a little bit of clear. So again, we're gonna hit it up with just some water, and I'm gonna go ahead and wet sand. You just really want to make sure that the paint is not proud, right? The paint that you added is not proud of the clear coat. All right guys, so I did a little test on some other ones, and these are so small that once you sand them down, they're nice and flush. You just polish them down and you can hardly see them. So I think that's what we're gonna do. I'll bring my, my dual action in here, we'll polish this up and we'll see what it looks like. Perfect. All right, so that looks great. I can't even tell where the paint chips were. Well, I guess you could. If you look really close, I guess you could tell. But I don't think I need to put any clear on this. This is the PPF here. I've never removed any of this stuff before. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a heat gun and just try and peel it back. And hopefully it's not going to take some paint away with it, but we'll see. That worked out extremely well. It's crazy to see. This is like completely virgin paint under here, and there's quite a difference from the surrounding area. Anyway, we'll see if we can polish that out. I don't know how much you guys can see this, but it's still pretty visible, but it's much better than it was. I don't think I'm getting it any better than this though. All right guys, so it's been a couple hours. I think I got about 15 or so at this point. I'm complete with the first stage, so the cutting stage here, and you can see it's turned out pretty good. There's a lot of haze in there that'll all come out in the polishing phase. But the majority of the scratches are all gone. We got the whatever the decal was. I don't know the shape, but it was kind of odd. Got that mostly all gone. Even, hold on, focus. So yeah, even this spot down here, it's not perfect. Where the PPF was, it's not perfect there, but if you're really shining a light on it, you can see it. But otherwise, it's pretty sweet. So yeah, everything's done. It's a little dusty right now because the microfiber cloths, you gotta like blow them out all the time. So I was in an enclosed garage, so I got a lot of dust on the windshield and everything else. But yeah, overall, I'm really impressed. Had to go over a couple spots twice, but otherwise, it was pretty smooth sailing. So at this point, I'm just gonna hit it with some the orange, Lake Country pad, and I think what I'm gonna do, well, we're gonna have to experiment a little bit, but we're either gonna hit it up with some V36, this guy right here, which is a little bit coarser than the 38. See if it takes everything out. I think I'm gonna try the orange pad with the 38, and what else we could try is the 36 with the white pad. We'll see which one works better, but yeah, we'll give both those a try on the door here, and we'll see which one I prefer. This side right here, the left hand side, is going to be the white pad, so it's essentially a polishing pad with the 36, which is a very fine cut. So I'm going to try and pair these two up, and we'll see what it looks like as a finished product here. All right, so I haven't even looked at it yet with the light, so I'm gonna just jump right into the, this is a medium cut pad with the V38, which is a fine polish, a jeweling polish. So I'm really hoping like one of these mixtures is gonna be better than the other for taking out all the swirls and the holograms and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, we'll jump right in here and get her done. All right, so there's the tape line. You can see we went from that to this with the white pad and the V36. Right, it looks really good. Looks deep. And then this is the orange pad with the V38. And honestly, I think it looks very close. If I were, if I were to pick a winner, I think it would be the white pad with the 36. There's just small imperfections that were removed with this one that are still present on this one here. Now I tried to do the exact same amount of passes, right? So about 3 passes, and then the same amount of pressure and the same amount of compound. So anyway, they both look really good, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and use the white pad and the 36. Yeah, but look at the difference, right? That's huge. All right, guys. So a quick update on where we're at here with the car. You see, she's real pretty. Let me just show you with the light here. Essentially, it's a mirror. Anyway, it looks amazing. You know, looks fantastic. So she's just about done. What we used to finish it, since I filmed that last scene, I kind of went around and I wasn't happy with how it was finishing. I changed up my process and I picked up some of this Sonak's Perfect Finish, and I used it with a white finishing, a polishing pad from Lake Country. And that, I'll tell you, was night and day to the Chemical Guys stuff. So if any of you guys are using Chemical Guys to finish or even cut, to do anything, really, I would just throw it in the garbage. This is night and day, like I say. And let me just show you guys. Right, so I haven't done the bumper. I have to do some paint repair, but I don't know if you guys can even see it. But the bumper has not been corrected at all. The trunk has. All right, now you can probably see just how bad that is, how faded the paint is. It's not faded, it's just like, it's so severely scratched, and then you come up here to the trunk lid, and it's a mirror. So this is the spot here where I gotta get fixed. That's why I didn't want to really, do anything to the bumper yet, because this is gonna have to get repainted. I brought it in for repair when I purchased the car, and they really botched it. And for some reason, when I put the iron remover on it, it kind of just melted the repair. So I'm gonna bring it back. So I don't know if they're gonna want to redo the whole bumper or not, but that's why I haven't touched it yet. And I'm not planning on ceramic coating it right now.